Yahoo, Prof here, and we're a bit in the dark because Paze and I, who's over there, hey, there's Paisy. We're being chill. We got the warm setting on the hues. We're gonna take a look at the precision screwdrivers because KC Tool today sent me my replacement T10. Well, that one didn't fare too well in shipping. So, it's still a fully feasible screwdriver. I may grind that all the way down and put it to use someplace because it is still a viable T10. The screwdriver bit's never been used. We just lost the spinny bit. But yeah, once they realized what it was, because they're like, oh, surely because these pop off, right? They're like, yeah, it probably just popped off in shipping. I'm like, you will want to check out the photos I sent. And of course, they're like, oh, wow, we've never seen that before. Of course, it's me. Oh, and I truly do believe it because they were trying to explain how it can pop off. If you're wondering why all the paint is off that corner, that is why. Oh, I'm going to have big old black and blue spot. I need to widen up the... Eventually, this is going to move, so it won't happen. Oh, God. Paisley, she's sitting there just like... What was the problem? Ugh, I got to kill these yet. Forgot about that. Those are the old network cables I don't trust anymore. You coming in here, Pace? I thought you might want to. Yeah. So, just so we can talk about the precision screwdrivers. We have my original Craftsman setup here. That's not what we're talking about today. Well, this is what started me out on it. On getting a full set, because iFixit didn't exist in the 90s. This might be an early 2000s set, but I think. And why Craftsman? There were actually a couple options back then for this sort of stuff. And the answer to that is quadruple zero. What you doing up there, kitten? So that is why I went with this set, because it was the only set, and I think I actually had some other ones that were like maybe multi-bit, nothing like die fix, like nothing standardized with the 4mm shank. Some people call that a 1/8 inch. It's not. Let's get that straightened out. It's weird like PCs. The 1/4 inch shank is 1/4 inch, and the other one is 4mm. Just like PCs, the big screw is 632, small screw is M3. Because it started out as a US standard, then went on from there. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's the cute kitten doing? Yeah. Yeah, can we finish showing the people what's up? So I went from those, and I still have... Oh, she wants more? You want more pets? Yeah? Oh, you got to pet the kitten? Oh, where are you going? You want to come up on my shoulder? Okay. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. And then this is what I have for Felo. I should say for some Craftsman, I do have like multiples. I think it's the 5/32 size. Pazer, you can't go up there. You're gonna cause mayhem if you go up any higher. Yeah. But there's a size in here that's very common. You've seen me use it before and pull it out. It's just a great pry tool. I bought a bunch of them for cracking open switches. It's actually the size, not the same width as the switch clips for Cherry Max, but the one size down. You needed that little bit of leeway. Oh, now you're going around again? Okay. And what you guys are going to be seeing today is this Felo set. And yes, there's, well, 2 yellow ones, because those were the 2 that have since been replaced within the past year or 2. Felo has changed their color from red to yellow, which does make it a bit weird for ESD and for 1000 volt rated. I forget what that's technically called. But you'll see on the one that broke, hey, no sharpening. No sharpening. You can sit. No sharpen. Yeah, you can see she likes sitting. That's her chair. Here. Sit down. I'll give you scritches. Yeah. This one's pretty well rubber on that's going. Probably should, tip's still fine though. Interesting. Probably just need more desiccant in here. A lot of these have gone bad. You can see they've kind of like soured and now they like leak oil, sort of. I don't know which one of these I just yeeted over top. This guy probably got yeeted. That's a vessel 50. No, it's 50. That's quad 0 vessel. 000 vessel here. And this should be 00 vessel. Oh, I think that these were the other way around. Either way, you can figure those out. You're probably like, well, why do you have these cheaper looking vessel ones? And they are. They're quite a bit cheaper than the Felos. They're like on par with the cheap, I think it's the Wihas that you can get. Those we used for a long time at Geek Squad as well. Like, I shouldn't say for a long time. In between having the skill sets I was showing off and we kind of like de factoed to the iFixit once we got it. But if you wanted a proper shank, not an interchangeable bit screwdriver, it was the entry-level Wihas. They kind of look pretty similar without the rubber grip to these Craftsman's. And the vessels are much in that same way. This set was the cheapest vessel set because I don't use JCIS that often. But it was the cheapest JCIS set that had the quad 0. And I personally, because I don't use it that often, I would rather have the more sizes than the... I could probably take this guy out too now. Because I don't know if those can take straight bits like this can. Otherwise, I just got to get it a little extension, you know, like something like that. But like for 1/4" bits, so I can put it in there. I'm sure I have one around here. Like I have that. Well, what I really want and what would probably be good is the Centrofix bit holder, not just the Centrofix handles. But yeah, I really don't need this guy anymore. And what that allows me to do is turn this 90 degrees. A little bit harder to read some of the stuff. But this thing's got, if you want to see something with a lot of play in it. I use this for years and years and years though, so I almost don't want to get rid of it because it is a, it kind of goes in this bin of tools right here that is my, it's a, you know, it's a tool. Some of these I've reviewed, like the crescent knife. I was like, that looks very similar to a EAB, but worse. Maybe built better actually, but like in function, worse. I'm probably gonna have to expand this out to 2 drawers. You'll see shortly. But what we have basically is combined 2 pre-made sets. It was a Phillips, Mr. Philippe, and we're missing. This is the 0. I need to RMA the 1. So it's over my pile of stuff to RMA right now. And that one's probably that's probably, I was gonna say that's part of the reason why I kept these Craftsman's around too, is this Phillips one is skinnier than the fellow Phillips one by like a large margin. It is also shorter. I don't know if you can see that. These are pretty short precision screwdrivers in many cases, which can be advantageous. I was going to say snubby tools. No, that's not right. I've mentioned it before. Hopefully it'll hit me later on. But they actually purposely make stubby, you know, like short ones. And to be truthful, if you're doing laptop repair, as long as the shank is skinny enough, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, just got to go through the chassis. You'll actually get more control being closer. So what we have besides this then was, so this was all a set, I think, or 2 sets, where it's a 1, 0, 00, 000. You notice no quad 0, and they don't make one. So another reason to keep the Craftsman around. Even I can't get replacements anymore. Then we have slotted, I think this was a set because it's 4 and 4. Then there's a slotted 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5. Then the next set was this Torx set, which is a T987-6 and a hex 1.5. This hex is looking a little rough. Apparently I use the 1.5 fairly often. 1.5. Like, see, look, it's the one I use often. That one has a good handle. The one that doesn't have any wear, basically, on it comparatively, the handle's all, like, starting to come apart, which is interesting. I probably really do need to get some desking in these. I'm probably going to buy, like, the big bin and see if I can either buy some containers or 3D print some. But yeah, it must be the hand oils that are, like, oiling this grip or something. Because same thing with over here is it was this one that has the label worn off, so it's used quite often. This is the 0. Doesn't have that same, like, wear to the rubber. And by the way, these are well over 10 years old. I mean, granted, some of them have been replaced throughout the years. Obviously, the yellow ones have in here. This is one where I specifically bought a long Phillips one because sometimes in PC building, you really got to get in there. So we'll probably have to rearrange this with all the new drivers. And I'm probably going to have to do like what I did up here, where I'm alternating like that. I do the same thing for these guys, my screwdriver sets, if you notice. That's JIS, so the big size, alternating into the flatheads. And I left enough space on this left side here for my Pozidriv. 1, or it'd be 3, 2, 1, and I don't have a 0. I couldn't even order one there out of stock. But that should all fit still in here. And the Phillips 2 is missing again because I wore it out again. So I may have to transition down to, like, this one is not all that well organized because it's got all these long screwdrivers in it. This is perfectly fitting. I really don't want to move that. That's pretty darn perfect, and I don't use these that often, but I like them all to be. And here you can see these guys. I probably need some new desking in here, but this one's been used a heck of a lot. That's a T8. Surprise, surprise. I got the iFixit pry tools. We got sort of new iFixit pry tools. We got blades. There's the new iFixit pry tools, just because I want used ones, like the ones I'm using, and I don't like having ones that are used, like, and they're all barely used sort of thing. I want one that you, like, use until you break and it is no longer usable, and then I want a backup in here. And then when the backup gets used, you order another one, or a pack of 5 or something. In here are some of the Keras pry tools. I keep the titanium one, the updated titanium one that doesn't have this weak point right there, by my desk at all times. These are some that they made out of Delrin. If these were still available, I would use them far more regularly. There'd probably be one in there and one over here. They kind of applied this design to these. In here is my bit collection. So if you guys have any, here you can kind of go from this side just so I don't open them and fling them everywhere. That is my Phillips 2 bit collection. That's all the different brands of Phillips 2 that I currently have. It's like 3 or 4 Dewalts, 2, 3, 4 Milwaukee's, a couple Irwins, 2 Irwins looks like. Yeah. So if you guys have one, I'm looking. Here, this snap-on could go in there probably. I was trying not to break up the set of the snap-on. That's all they give you when you buy a screwdriver. That many bits. And these are weird because they're like pinched. Those aren't hollow ground, they're like not very good quality actually, if you ask me. Maybe I'm wrong, but so I don't know. Maybe with some serious rearrangement we'll get all the new drivers that you're about to see in here with this. Probably gonna have to move these either back there like that, or slide this back and put them up front. You know, where I can get at them, because I use these not just for these bits, but also for the Wiha power blades. Here, I'll grab one of these skinny boys and then throw it. There you go. That's a T8 right there. Security T8 with a 6-inch, or I think it's 150 millimeter shank on there. If you guys want like stuff to throw in an electric screwdriver, or say if you don't want all these different drivers, these are the only ones that I've found, and we'll have another follow-up video on those shortly, where they actually turn the shank down skinnier. Most places, imagine like this guy. See how it turns down right here? There's like another step, right? Most places will leave it full or almost full size all the way down to there. So this is way more useful there. Not impact rated, but oh my gosh, there's a reason why they're right here on my workbench. And to be truthful, neither of these have holes in them, so I can't like leave them hanging off the side. So maybe I gotta get like a magnetic holder. I wouldn't mind if those two handles were like right there. So if you guys know of like a magnetic thing that I can put those in, that would be great. Here's one of the red ones. I went and looked at one of the yellow magnetizers, and apparently they aren't made anymore, or at least not on Amazon anymore. Expect this to expand to a second one of these, and I do have one more. They don't sell yellow anymore, but I have one more in the other room, and I'll have to buy like a more standard color. And like I'm pretty sure they've done that exactly purposefully. I used to have one, and I ended up giving it away to a friend. It was a mechanics time saver, I believe. Compared to these Olsa tools, I thought I could not. I don't understand why people love these mechanics time savers, because the magnets on them are so weak. Then they got those Olsa tools, and for example, these are the big power blades. Here, upside down, shaking it. I couldn't even do that with the standard 1-inch bits, 1-inch insert bits. You know, like the ones I just showed you those Phillips 2s of, or the snap-on bits. You couldn't even do that with 1-inch bits on the mechanics time saver, which is either the original or one of the originals. In here we've got our nut drivers still in holder, because it does work well. You just lift that up and they're still sorted. That may get changed. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Yeah, because I could cut this by the width of this in this drawer if I didn't have those. If you guys know good screwdriver sorting, let me know, because there are some of these where it's not even necessarily screwdriver, it's like nut drivers. Because I'm gonna have a whole bunch more stuff that's either gonna need to go in this drawer, or like this one doesn't need this. This is just like batteries and shit. And that snap-on, that'll get cleaned out as well. So maybe we don't. I'll try to not get rid of those as much as I can, because I do like the fact that if you leave them up like this, you can kind of lift this up and get out your size, and everything stays in there. But at the same time, I think I'd save I'd save at least that much space, because imagine flipping these around and overlaying them, right? I would probably want, like, do they make like a raised magnetic strip where, you know, like these could stay in this skinny drawer, but at least magnet down, right? If you guys are getting my vibe. I think I've had a Mechanics Time Saver. That one actually had pretty good magnets. That was like a flat, like, panel you slap down, and then we could put screwdrivers and screws. Ugh, that's one of the things, talking with Squeers, that I probably left at Geek Squad when I left. Just didn't even think about it because it had been there for so fucking long. It even made it through the fire because it's just a metal plate with magnets in it. I got it on like a holiday clearance at Home Depot. So that the same time was when I bought their version of this, and it was pretty shit by comparison. And I have finally ordered. They have one with like 100 holes. That's like a big square. So that's probably gonna like go here or something for a lot of the other bits that like are more specialty that I need access to that I don't have in a set. Pazer, can we head back to the room? Come here. Oh, come on. Yeah. But yeah, give me ideas, because I'm gonna have way more. You'll see in a bit here. Way more precision screwdrivers that need to be sorted in there. Maybe you guys have a more efficient way of doing it. Here's how I ended up doing the bolt size binders. Added a titanium split ring. Added these big. I could have probably gone one size down with the G series night eyes. This is a number 4. It's bigger than the actual tool. But now it's not in your way, and it clips on pretty much anything with it being that big, including the side of the bag, like the side of the workbench there. Or it could be the side of a bag, you know, an eyelet on a backpack. Door, where'd you go? So I like the key ring they gave you with the tiny clip that I couldn't even get my thumb into. Like, it was made for a key ring to hang on, like to hook up to something and never take off. Whereas those, I feel like you want to be as clip and unclippable as possible to make them accessible. So that was my improvement on that. There's the... Realized I hadn't started the razor blade stealth in over a year. I'm gonna have to move that so I don't kick it. Probably charged by now. I'm gonna take care of those. I'm gonna do these. All right. Oh, God. Side note, still love this thing. Has a dedicated GP unit. It's just a 13-inch thin guy. This still feels amazing. Was the hardware the best? Did I have the best support from Razer? Hell no. I think like the hardware was actually really good, but the like Razer OEM issue, they never really updated it. Let's put it that way. And then there was another half a generation. Technically, I think that was already a half a generation jump. There's another half a generation jump, which Lenticular has. If you guys hop in on the Discord, he'll be on there, or you've probably seen him donate systems over at Paul's Hardware and Bitwit. Yeah, I've been playing with this in meetings. Wow, blah, blah. Check out my video on those if you're like, oh, those are just like the color Wiha. Nope. I also have the Magic Ring Allen detent. Had to order this set directly from Amazon Germany. I think there was one left after I ordered this one that was available. And I couldn't see it. I think pretty sure they've been discontinued. Usually you can get the colors, or you can get the Magic Ring detent. So we already kind of went over that guy. First one we're gonna do here, and for now it's probably gonna stay in this kit until I figure out where these are all going. Reason being is this is quite a lot. 1, 2, 3, 6 of them. And what it is it is a nut driver. So if you're doing GPU work or anything with PCBs, a lot of times, especially between layers, either of heat sinks or PCBs, they will use nuts on standoffs, or a nut that you screw into. That'll also happen if you're putting like water blocks on and that sort of stuff. Gamers Nexus and their kit of screwdrivers, which, man, the tool roll that they have doesn't make any logical sense to me. It's like backwards. It holds the handle, not the tip, or not the shank, right? It holds like this end, like you put that end in. Brain hurty there. They also did not look very quality. They also like didn't include the Phillips 2, which is like the #1 tool used. So, and I kind of explained it like, oh, this is it for like taking apart GPUs. The problem is I think that was for 10 series, like 1080 Ti, maybe 20 series. Turns out all the newer GPUs use different sizes. That's why, like, if you're doing something very regularly, you can build out a specific kit and setup of tools, but I want to say that really doesn't work all that well. Like if it's not the thing you do, like say for like a race mechanic, they know exactly what bolts where are needed. They can do a like first priority toolbox where tools go in slots. They're colored so you know if they're missing, and because like you know the exact bolts. You could kind of do that with GPUs, but as soon as they update and change their cooler design, which granted, like it was like 780, no, 680 was still a like magnesium, but looked like a plastic cooler. So it'd be 780, 980, 1080, 20 series had changed. So it was good for a while. But yeah, and here we have a kit that is 5.5 millimeter, 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, and 3. And I believe that I went through the, like, you believe? I'm like, yeah, it's been a hot minute. We've had a lot of things come in. I've been intending for some time to pick up the rest of, and when I mean for some time, I mean like over 5 years. I bought those initial sets that I bought every precision Felo screwdriver that was available via at our back when Fleet Farm carried it, and that was over 10 years ago now. So these have worked very well for me. Let's put it that way. And so I've been intending on expanding and getting filling in the rest of the drivers, because I still very much believe in, if you have a true full shank, maybe not full shank because it doesn't go all the way back, but like a shanked screwdriver instead of one like with interchangeable bits, that is a much nicer experience than something like an iFixit, especially if it feels like a more premium. You feel more, I don't want to say locked in, but like you have more feedback. Let's call it that. Oh my gosh, come on, you piece of garbage. Trying to figure out where I ordered all these from. That's my GPU being, okay, that's like long ass ago. Oh, okay, so middle click is enter, apparently. Do we have like a marked one? A KC tool, Felo missing. Okay, so it should be before this one. I took pictures of, I might have actually done it on my phone when I think about it. Either way, this is, let's look up the Felo catalog. Catalogs. You gotta go to the German one to get the semi-up-to-date one. And it's still from like 2023, I think. 2022. And then I downloaded it. I thought it would, of course it grabs the German one too. Yep, totally no German. Oh, I swear the Windows 11, here, I'll show you what I mean. I swear the Windows 11 sticky, like, here's my hand moving. Like it is way too sticky. All right. Oh yeah, the number 9 is what they're calling their new cheap line, whereas I had the Felo Frico. So I have a feeling that when I arm in my Felo Frico number 2 here, I might get a number 9 back. Damn it, I keep spiking that. I still got contact. Because this replacement from Gerber became bent too. And here is the, oh my god, of course, because it's underneath them all. That's the Phillips 1. That's got to get replaced. And I have a Phillips 1 big ergo. That's got to be replaced. There's the ergonomic. They're comfy. I just don't prefer them, really. So let's get, I like the wood ones. Hell yeah. I like the slim ergos. The slim ergos are actually really nice. Keep going here. Okay, something about this. A lot of people love this tilt handle here, but apparently it doesn't have standard detent. It uses like a customized ball detent. So what they do is they tap it out, and maybe I'll eventually do that, and they put in like a Centrofix from Wiha. So because it can do that right down here. Apparently it's really quality and really solid, but you can see right there there's actually like a ball detent. So what people will do is they'll drill it out and tap it for a set screw. They really just need to update that to not be this, you know, like double blade. Nobody actually likes those. Maybe not nobody, but like here, they even sell these right here. See these guys? Where, like they have their own nut drivers. I didn't end up getting theirs. I got somebody else's. You know, but even their own nut drivers have a standard shank on them, right? So do their bits. We need to go down to here. All right. I don't know why that it's zoomed out when I. Why is Adobe so drunk? Like zoomed out once. Add image, add text. No, I just want to like view that in a reasonable. Does that fit page? Single page view. Enable scrolling. Fit width. No, we want fit height, I guess. Fit height. There you go. So if we go here, there you go. 3.54. That's what I was trying to find. Right there. So in this singular kit, you get, and you can see them. I don't show the kit, I guess. Right there. That's the kit. So you get all of them in there. I, in the past, have gotten this upper kit right there where you saw the 1.5 to 3 slotted and the 00 and 0 for the Phillips. And then I've also gotten this kit, which is the Torx T6 to T9 and the 1.5 and 2 millimeter hex. And then I think I filled it out with what would be this kit down here potentially as well. No, that's the same one. I might have gotten some just individuals then to kind of fill out the rest. Well, now what we're doing is I'm filling out this. Basically, if it's available, you know, precision driver from them including Pozidriv, because I've needed that recently. Like, we're getting it, or we've got it. So these nut drivers will probably stay temporarily in the little box. Actually, like if I went digging, I could probably, because we've reused this box from the other ones multiple times. There you go. This kit is 249-96166. And 249 is like the series, if that makes sense. And you'll see some of these are 240. Here, some of these are 246. That's for the Allen, I believe. So that will be going in there eventually. It'll go in the drawer. I'll have like a size for it, but more than likely, I don't like they condensed it because they want this to be even shorter this way. To fit more width this way, I would probably, as long as the drawer is long enough, have them alternate like right up to here. And what I mean by that is like, rather than right now, I would have them go like that, basically. Right there. The other option is, as well as these are used less likely, so we could do kind of like the bigger screwdriver where we have like say the Phillips readily accessible, the slotted on the other side, and then the JS and Pozidriv kind of like slotted in between. Could put these this way because I don't use the nut drivers as much, and then put the like Phillips and slotted facing up. If you guys have thoughts on that, or like I said, I kind of would want like a magnetic strip, but it's got to be a little bit tall because even for the precision screwdrivers, it would have to hold this, but then this, like you don't want it like tipping in, if that makes some sense. I don't know if what I'm asking for is ridiculous or not. But it would help too if you pull the drawer out because it would magnet to the drawer, and then these would magnet to it, right? You can see that they intend for these to be stacking if you buy the kits, and I used them like this for a while, but it does not, like having to like pull a like if you're on the go and you had this like in a tool, like say you have a, like this is not a main thing that you use, so you keep it in your van or something, or it's in a drawer already that you don't need to access a lot, like your mobile mechanic sort of thing. You know, maybe that's a reason or a way to do it. But let's crack this open. I'm kind of surprised there's some red in here because I thought they had fully switched over to the yellow. I was not impressed, by the way. This would be fine for shipping. Shoving them all in one bag, not too impressed there. But hey, whatever, I guess, works. TM, I guess, sort of. Didn't work. Oh, we got some longer ones. There's some grease on them, I think. And here is that one. Look at that, snapped clean off. It's actually sharp. There's some longer ones. It looks like the longer ones were facing this way and the shorter ones were facing that way. So, and if you're, for those that are wondering, the longer ones generally are the bigger sizes. That's what they'll do with them. Is like this is a T20, right? So, I guess I could try and glue this back on too. I don't know how well that would. Oh, that's like not gonna go back on there properly. Look at that, there's a massive gap, and that's even once the bump is aligned. Like, yeah, I would. You can see I want the butt, but hey, this is still a viable T10 tip on here. You know what I mean? I could make it into a bit of a T handle, and how you would do that put that on there, and then, you know, you wouldn't use it. You can use another screwdriver like I just did, but like I can make something a little bit more permanent. But yeah, that oh, snap that back in. I don't think that piece is coming out though. Ooh, you can see it took a hit there. And it's not, oh, do you see that? Interesting. It's not like, this is molded wrong. That might be why it happened. You see it's like off center. So when I spin this, see how it goes up and over, up and over. So that might be what happened there. Let's check another one. That, if you notice, is perfectly centered. Let's check this guy. That was shipped individually. One thing I was always kind of bummed about with these was they aren't marked on the cap. What size they are. Maybe one day I might do that. I would do an engraver now, so I might do that myself. Yeah, look at that. That one's fine. So I think this cap is mismolded off center, and that is what caused this to... You saw how far it was sticking out, because it was like not in there properly. So since I have the piece, I may just glue it back on. It won't spin, but at least I have the cap there, right? Might as well. And yes, that does mean, I mentioned it earlier, that's how you can tell the difference is black end is normal, yellow end is a ESD. Now you might be asking, why are some of these ESD and why are some aren't ESD? I'm going to temporarily take this broken one and pop it in there. So I can just keep this one separate, knowing it's one I gotta futz with. Let's take, well, part of the reason is some of these were only available in ESD. This was a bit odd. I did order the rest of the Allens. Now this is not ESD, this is just yellow. So that's a 2.5 and a 3. Because remember we had 1.5 and 2. Let me double zoom in here, or 2x zoom. All right, so this is a stop focusing. There you go. Excuse me. This is a 3mm by 75. This one came in red. It'll match. It's kind of like the Knipex stuff where it can come in nip extend or normal unless they're paying attention, and they actually told me that it would come yellow last time I did it because I had a red one, and they switched, I don't know, in 2021, 2022, somewhere in that range. And that new one I showed you, that's from 2022, and it was all yellow already. I'm guessing they switched because of Wiha having red already as well, and already being like a German brand. So we've got the rest of the Allens, metrical Allen only. So that is something much like these. I brought these up at the part of another video. These are the ball and hex Veras. And as much as I might not like the balance of this handle all that much, that ball and hex is super unique, so I had to pick them up. So I don't have precision hex standard size. I may end up having to go Moody Tools. That's the name of like what I would consider one of the best precision screwdriver brands made in the USA, etc. Might have to go to a brand like that to get the like imperial standard sizes. Otherwise, Wiha might have them, but you know, So you can see I'm very at home. It turns out I've been using this size, like this grip, for a very long amount of time. I really do. Originally I didn't like this because it's like a taller spinny guy, right? Compared to the Craftsman, right? That was like a wider, flatter one. But I don't know. With my hand size, I can pinky here and then use my thumb there, and I still have room to, if I really need to, go like that. So let's see what else we've got here. That looks as you ask me, that looks like a pokey, like just a poker, and it is not. That is a, holy bloody jeez. Okay, that's a Pentalobe 2. Jeez, that's tiny. Okay, P5. PZ1, PZ0, P6, T10. Yep, that's the one that came borked and busted. Okay, that kind of goes over here. So T10, T20. Okay, T15, T10, T20. And then these are flats. So you can go into these next. So this is flatheads. These are the larger sizes. So I think it went up to 3mm before. This is 3.5mm, and it's by 100. Whereas normally these would be by 60mm, like this guy, like this P6s, right? These you gotta like look at the charts, but these bigger sizes are often only available in the longer shank. So this is the shortest shank of these two sizes, I believe. 3.5 at 100 and 4.0 at 100, and you could, I think you could give it 250 if you wanted to. I don't generally want that, like, if you notice, like, I don't know if you can see up here, but for the size, because it's a thicker shank or shaft, the length kind of makes sense. You're getting that, like, ratio. Kind of like on a lot of these Allens here. I don't know if you noticed, but, like, they get shorter. This is a 75, and that is a, they say a 75. But if you look, the handle is longer. Right? And if you look at this guy, it's because it got to a certain size. Like, they have to change the handle size, which then makes the screwdriver longer, if that makes sense. Ordering them in the US is weird, by the way, because like here, this is a 60 and that is a 100, but they have the same handle size, so it's all in the shank. And the issue is that when you order them in the US from US support, and I ran into this, they go off of shank size in the German catalog. In the US catalog, they go off the full length. It's just something to keep in mind if you ever have to warranty them, or if you're trying to get a specific one. Like this one with the T15, I really think that this T15 should have same thing with this T20. It should have this bigger handle of these right here. These 4mm flathead, because of the thickness of the shaft, it feels very front heavy. And normally the Felo screwdrivers do not feel front heavy at all. Like, you get this smaller, skinnier front end. I don't know if you can see this here, right? You can definitely see that, right? I would think that this is what you'd want to be on here. But so for that, we have the T20 available in the 100, the T15 available in the 100, and the T10 available in 60. I think it was also available in the 100, and I debated getting it. But my up to 9, I think I have, or T8, is all in the 60. So I went this route. Worst case, if I find I need a longer one, heck, I can just order it, add it to there. You saw I have the long Phillips one. Just like you'll see I have a bunch of long Phillips 2s when it comes to full-size screwdrivers. So that's what we have there. All of these ended up being ESD. And that, I think, is because they're not in the kit, right? So all those other Torx came in a kit. All of these were separate, and they were only in the ESD size. Now, these are the Pozidriv, or Pozidriv. For some reason, Felo used to spell it wrong with an E. So if you're looking for them, you might have to do Pozidriv with an E at the end. The correct spelling is Pozidriv, no E. Though in American English, you end up with the E often. Probably because, like, my only guess there is, like, Pozidriv, D-R-I-V, is, like, the actual, like, patented name, right? Whereas, maybe Pozidriv, people could say, like, oh, it's compatible, but we're not have to pay the licensing for it. And you can see it's, like, a more bulbous. I don't know if that makes sense than, like, a Phillips. The other thing you get with these that is actually harder to tell on this ESD variant of the PZ1. It's actually quite hard. You can see little divots in there because they changed this, like, to this more bulbous design here. On the Pozidriv Zero, which is the more standard style, and it's actually like the old red one, you can see here very clearly where the Pozidriv, like the extra little grabbers. So instead of being just 4 blades, it's 8, right? And this has the very classic, like very sharp, hard corner. Like on some of the newer ones, I've started seeing the sort of like bulbous cut, if that makes kind of what I'm calling it. But I got the PZ1 and PZ0. You're like, why'd you get an ESD for the 1 and a non-ESD for the 0? Well, it turns out originally there was a 0 and a 1 in non-ESD. But as far as I could tell, once the ESD variant became available for the 1, the non-ESD variant is out of stock. I don't particularly care because unlike my Lindstrom pliers, as far as I can tell, this grip is basically the same between the ESD and the non-ESD. Like, I legitimately do not know the difference. They literally just have yellow cap versus black cap. Couldn't tell you. You can see here, these guys are Pozidriv too. And they have this hard edge. But this one, yep, see, hard as well. But some of the number 9s from Felo have the like this sort of, that more bulbous style. So I'm thinking like the ESD is a newer, so it has the newer tip design. Or it could be too that this 0, had I had the yellow handled one, like the updated variant, it would also not have this it would have the newer design. Who knows? It also could be because, maybe this wasn't a licensed design and this one now is. Yeah, they also labeled them a little bit different. So on this one, it's like clear, if you see there, and this one it's like filled in black to give the shape better. Very hard to see. Like here you can kind of see very little lines in that image. This black filled in one, you ain't got nothing. For those that don't know, Pozidriv is basically Europe Phillips. It is better and different than Phillips and JCIS. And yes, many of you have told me there is no longer JCS, that was abolished, yada yada yada. Okay, but small issue with that. What is used then? As far as I can tell, they've just switched to Torx. So the problem is places still put JCS screws into things because it's a standard that's established for since the 80s or whatever. Yeah. This guy's butt is pretty tight. You can see that it might loosen up. I've had some that do over time. The plastic's just kind of not all oblong like the one that broke though. This is P. P is Pentalobe. You might be able to tell there, but there's a 5-star. It's not a Torx, which is 6, or I think Torx Plus is like 12 or something, 8 or 12. This is Pentalobe 5. Why do you need these? This isn't a 5. This is P6. I actually don't know offhand what we use P6. I can tell you what uses P5 though. Right here, this guy, and that is Apple. Apple. P5s. I'm guessing similar for the P2 because there ain't no. Apparently there is no P3, P4. And like I showed you, that thing looks so tight, tiny, and smooth. You wouldn't know that that's a screwdriver on the end. But it comes down to just some very... You can tell there, probably. Maybe. Probably pretty hard to tell with our current lighting situation. Trying to keep it low-key, though. So, yeah, didn't have these. There is a set that includes these three, the P6, P5, P2, and then this guy, which is the Y. This is what you need for like a Nintendia. And that's a tri-wing. So that's more of a security screw. So they kind of had, and you can see this is actually more of that newer bulbous design. See, they cut in right there at the neck, and then they go bloop. And maybe they found that to be better than some of these like very harsh, you know, like harsh cuts. Now these are not hollow ground. I don't know that I've ever seen any precision screwdriver be hollow ground. There's plenty that are that way, like when you get up in size, you know, like the bigger ones. But this was just basically pinched. So these, you saw, so we had, especially if you include the nut drivers, we probably had this many in the drawer already, right? And I need to fit all of these in their correct order in the drawer, right? The nut drivers, ideally, and what I showed you earlier, the ball head hex Wihas. Yeah, and these don't have to be in the exact same place. If anything, these would go in another drawer probably. I don't want, like I said, this is what Apple ships with a Torx or torque setting on here, like for specific screws and stuff. They're fine. They're just very front heavy weighted, especially when you had that little adapter for the torque, because you could put in like insert bits basically. Because you would have different, you know, you might have to use a Pentalobe, or you might have to use a Torx, or you might have to use a JCIS with Apple. All depends on what you're working on. You know, it's real skinny. I am far more partial to, you know, well, not that one. That's the one that doesn't spin. A spinny variant. Like. So, I know I had recommended these to people, and not like the ball head hex. I mean, like, hey, it's ball head hex. Ball head hex is cool. Ball head hex in precision, crazy awesome. Check them out. But if you want a quality precision set, these Vera ones are, you know, they're legitimately good quality. I know that I believe somebody tried picking up some Moody tools off Amazon, and then a similar set from Vera, and kept the Moody tools at home and then used the Veras at work. And I believe they were liking both of them. There's a large price gap between them, and they're like, I don't know if I personally see the price difference between a Vera and like the Moody tools, which you might not. You know, it all depends on what you're using, how you're using them, etc. I believe all the Moody tools are ESD as well. You can get these in ESD. I don't believe that these necessarily are, and like I said, I know you can because Apple ships them that way. You're like, oh, blah, 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 Apple. There's going to be a minimum standard if Apple's shipping it as like their repair tool to all of their AASP certified stuff, right? But yeah, these were awesome. You saw I already have precision hex. I have what 1.5 to now I have up to 3. You know, so I have that in Felo. Well, now I have that in Vera with the ball head, and the ball head will take less torque. And the further off angle you get, like you can get 25 degrees, I believe, with these, the less torque and the more likely it will be to slip out. So just remember that, like the further you are off, and that applies to any of the ball head, like ball head hex, like these, same thing. Apparently they snap in and hold very, very, very well. They snap in and hold very, very, very well if you put it straight in to, imagine like a button head or a I'm trying to remember. It's like the machine Allen head screws. I'm forgetting what they're called, but they're like square looking. Pop that right in there and you're good. As soon as you start getting off angle, this little snap ring starts losing its grip. I mean, you can see that these are quite a bit longer for their size than a lot of them. That means they're pretty confident in their strength. But it's the same thing with these Veras. With the ball head, I can like guarantee that this, like that, you can tell that that's actually super impressive with how tiny it is. That's the 1.5 or 1.3, sorry. So it's 1.3, 1.5 to 2.53. So like here's a 2.5 and here's a 2.5. Yeah, I can also tell you that this is made out of your Stalin, probably S2 tool steel, your standard like Allen key steel. That's why, like, if you're ever using like something, if you need like something strong, like to act as like a pin or something, just buy an Allen key, chop it off. Because they're generally all S2 or up in quality. But this is going to be way stronger, especially because it's, you know, you can. But if this is all you can get in there, and you can get it in at that angle, I didn't even know they made precision ball. And that as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yep, put in my cart. If I was an everyday technician where I needed these, I would have got they call it a display case. It's more of like it holds it upright and you can bolt it to the wall. So you don't have to use, like, if you didn't want to magnetize them, especially. Now, if you didn't care about magnetizing them, I would probably throw it on a magnet bar, like I've showed off before as well. But, you know, if you're worried about that, they have, like, the little, like, snap holder that looks and makes sense for use. That's, like, you know, Felo's got more of this sort of thing. So you can do, like, portable, carry it around and keep it compact-ish. Whereas Vera does like sort of the at workbench sort of thing for like cases and stuff like that. But I got to figure out where in my toolbox to put all of these, potentially all of these, and all of these over here. And then theoretically, I'm still missing the Allen sizes in like a precision style, right? Because all of these are metric hex. Here, you can see here that 1/4 inch 9/64. I can get Vera in these guys. Power blade, if you notice, also ball end. I just showed you some security tip power blades from Wiha, right? And these, you can see, like a full shank, and then it goes down. That's kind of what I was explaining with those other ones, where like that's why I get the Wiha ones, is because they start like down here and they slim out. Can't be too picky choosy though, because once again, ball end. Don't know that anybody else even attempts to make something like that, so that's why you have both. You have the long skinny guy to really get in that hole when you need it to, and then you've got the ball end so you can do that off angle to really get at it. So if you guys are interested in that, please hit that subscribe button, because we're going to take a look at this. Should be a pretty short one. The Pozidriv wood drivers, and then I ended up buying an entire kit. It says hand plus machine. I don't know if they're impact rated though. So see, it shows you how ball end works. But it was actually cheaper to get the ball end metric in here. I'm probably going to leave I may leave the other bits in the case, like the Phillips and Pozidriv, right? And then fill it in with something else. But it was cheaper to get the bits in this with the case, with the handle, and then add the American hex on ball and hex than it was to buy them all separately. Normally I would have, as you saw here, I have no problem doing onesie twosies as needed. But same thing here. Cheaper to buy this in a set than it is otherwise sometimes. But then when it came down to the Pentalobe and the Y, like the Trilobe, that came in a kit, but it came with 2 other screwdrivers. It might have been the 2 hexes I already had. Had it been the 2 hexes I didn't have, banger, right? And I would have bought it had it been, even if I would already had it been when I use regularly, cool. Throw it over on the workbench. I'll keep it as an extra, etc. But just really didn't need them. So it's cheaper to buy these 4 separately. And then also I could get them in the updated yellow, and get them all in the same length and everything. So didn't see a problem there. The Pozidriv situation was kind of weird, where just they only updated the Pozidriv 1, with the ESD, versus the 0. And that is also what I'm missing from this, is the 0. They exist, but they're all out of stock. So, and what I mean by all, I mean at least the 2 places that I had ordered these from, Chad's. This came from KC Tool. Some of this came from Chad's Toolbox. Both of those places though had any and all Pozidriv 0 full-size screwdrivers, not precision, clean out. Both in ESD, ergonomic, number 9, everything. And also, I think even one of them, the only option I did see that was available was like a double length. Like these are, that's a 150. That's a 100. I think it was a Pozidriv 0 and like, here, this one's 80. Pozidriv 1 and 80. I think it was a Pozidriv 0 and like 150 or something. I'm like, oh, dude, I don't need to scratch the itch in the back of my brain with a Pozidriv 0. That, and I think it was in like ergonomic handle or something. Like I'm not saying I don't want ergonomic handles, but like if everything else is in wood or Felo Frico, or it'd be just, I mean, granted, my squares are in ergonomic because apparently, when I went to buy them at least, at Fleet Farm, they only had square and ergonomic. I mean, by then, even 10 years ago, guys, we were already starting to trend away from square drive to Torx. And I do have to look. I think I have 1 or 2 Torx that are worn out that I need to warranty as well, like the bigger ones, like probably T15, T20, T25, something like that in that range. I should just do that all at once. So questions, comments from down below. Hopefully hit that subscribe button so we can check out the Vera kit and the extra bits I picked up. Because yeah, once I found out it's not just ball and hex. Let's just put it that way. I didn't order that kit originally for these guys. It's the other ball end that is in that kit that I was like, oh, that exists. Jaw drops to floor. Just same thing with these guys. The precision ball end hex. Let's just say something else impressed me that got me on that searching and that finding. So hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one as always. Peace.